What's going on, everyone? It's Yimorks here. Now, I haven't done one of these tutorials in a very long time. Literally, I think it's been about 2 years since the last time I made a Vrchat tutorial. But yeah, I kind of just with the release of my new plugin, kind of just been getting back into it, and I thought I would show you guys the easiest method I've discovered to do with weight painting, because I know weight painting is something that a lot of people struggle with, including myself back in the day, and this is basically the easiest way you could do it. It's almost automatic. It's quite nice, and will speed up whatever avatar making process, adding clothes, whatever. So I do have some clothing that I actually just got from Booth. So this is actually a piece of clothing I've never used before at all. So let me just put that there. So if we just open this up, okay, there it is. It's a little bit big, so I think it's still loaded in. Give it a second here. Okay, so it seems like it comes with a base. Again, this is a piece of clothing I've never seen before. Also, just another thing to note, I've removed all the textures from the body. So, there's going to be a little bit of nudity here, but, apologies for that. Nothing really you can do about it. Anyway, if you have a piece of clothing like this that has its own rig, this rig is kind of broken anyway, but if it does have its own rig, my recommendation is to delete it. Okay. First thing, just fix the model with cats. Okay, that seems to have fixed it. And now delete it. And then let's go into edit mode. And this purple bit here, because it's got a body, I'm just going to select it and remove it because I don't care about it. And now let's just scale this correctly here, and we'll just go to the side view and just try and line it up as best we can here. And another thing I would recommend is actually have your character in a T-pose. So if you click start T-pose here, and let's just go into the front view, and maybe we'll go R30, no, that's down, R negative 30, okay, a bit higher, R negative 40, okay, that seems nice. And this one here, negative 40, no, that's the other way around, I'm good at this. No, it's R40 we wanted, okay. So, just in case you weren't aware, you use numpad keys, so 1 is front, 3 is side, 7 is top. However, if you hold control and then press 1, that's the back view. Control and 3, that's the other side. So this is the left side, this is the right side. And then 7 will go on the other side if you hold control. But I won't do that for obvious reasons. Now, just really quickly, we're going to click on our clothing item. Let's actually first go into here and apply rest pose. And this will basically set your base to the default pose. And I actually do recommend you set your base in a T-pose, as that is the default stance most clothing is in. But now, click on your clothing, go to sculpt mode. I'm going to enable materials because it's just easier for me to see. And I am going to just start using the grab tool here, make the strength all the way and the radius a bit higher. And I'm going to kind of just push and pull everything until I'm kind of happy with it. So all this here, just pull it back. Maybe push this in. Okay, pants as well. So you just want to kind of roughly get it around the body, and then you make the finer adjustments once it's all where you want it. So just get that out. The groin, push it down a bit. Now, I'm not really going to do a perfect job on this because the whole point of this tutorial is the weight painting, not really the clothing stuff. So, trying to be as fast as I can here. And then what I'm going to do is reduce the radius a little bit so I can kind of push down this sort of area. And then we can pull it up a bit. Kind of push it in. This clothing item is actually very low poly. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to work with lower poly things, but you make do. All right, really roughly added. But that's it there. Oh, goodness, I didn't even realize it came with shoes. I think the easiest way to deal with the shoes would be to just go into edit mode, front view, click on this like a double-sided square thing here because that allows us to select everything. And I am just going to press G and then X and kind of just slide it to where you think it should go. Again, hold B, select everything, G and X, and okay, and now let's just go to the side view. Oh, these are actually heels. Okay, you know what? We're gonna not put shoes on. So the model I have actually does have two versions, one with heels, one without. I didn't realize that this clothing set had heels, and I'm not gonna swap the body now. So we're just gonna deal with this top half. But if you had heels and the base was set up for heeled shoes, then it should work. Okay, so now that you have everything, I'm actually going to remove this material here because it's not one we're using. Now that we have this, we want to click on the clothing item and go to the modifier. We want to remove, if it does have this armature component, we want to remove that and just go into the object data. And if the clothing item has all these vertex groups, which it will if it does contain an armature that you deleted, you're going to want to remove everything. So all of these, just delete. It will take some time. Okay. So now that they're gone, you want to go add modifier. We want to go add a data transfer modifier. The source object will be the body. And before we do this, I will actually go into pose mode here and show you that if we move the hand, nothing works. So if we go back to the clothing, the source object is the body. We want to check vertex data and vertex groups. After that, we want to generate data layers. And we can apply this, and what you can see is it's actually got vertex groups there again. And what it's actually done is gotten all the weight paint data from the body and the bones and kind of copy and pasted them as best as it can figure out onto the clothing. So now this won't work just yet. What you want to do is hold shift and then drag, click and drag the, I think it's actually already done it, hasn't it? Wait, hold up here. No, it hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't. Okay, so if you click on your mesh, you want to hold shift and drag it into the main armature, and then you click fix model, and that is it. We can go into pose mode, and if everything was done correctly, the clothing should now be very well weight painted in the correct spots. Even if you had something like your breastbones, it might get a bit of clipping there. Maybe that's something you can tweak, but I mean, I don't think this bone is ever going to bend that far up. So, looks alright. Something to get started with. Again, I did this whole clothing very roughly, so this is something that you would want to spend a little bit more time on. Another thing to note is, if you're, let's just get out of pose mode. For example, this clothing is actually very low poly. And what you'll find is when it does clip like that, it's because the body is higher poly than the clothing. So sometimes what might actually be best is if you give the clothing more geometry to work with. So let's actually do that. I might actually show you how to do that now. So I'm gonna undo everything we've just done. So we've got all this. Click on the body, not that, the clothing, sorry. We are going to want to just remove all these vertex groups again. I know we're kind of going back a step, but just remove everything. Oops, I added a new one, that's not what we want. Go back to the top and remove everything. Okay, and I mean the easiest way to do this, right, is just to go into edit mode, press A to select everything, not spacebar. Wait, I think my settings have changed back. So if spacebar does end up playing the animator, go into your preferences, go into, I believe, input, no, system, key map. Okay, spacebar action, you want to set it to search. And now when we select everything, press space, you want to type subdivide, and maybe, I don't know. Okay, I think that might be a bit too much, but I'm gonna leave it just to prove my point here. So now that we have all this geometry to work with, if we go data transform, we get the source object, which is the body, vertex group, and then select vertex, vertex data, and then select vertex groups, generate data layers, and apply. We should now have all that data there, and then we just hold shift and drag that object over our armature and fix model. What you'll find now if we go into pose mode is everything should actually look a little bit nicer. So if we again do those boobs here, you can see that we don't really have any clipping. So we can actually go all the way up, we don't see that clipping. We go all the way down, we do see a little bit of clipping when we go to the extreme. But that's looking good. Bend back around. You know, we're not seeing too much clipping there. The arms are looking alright. They're looking fine. Again, the jiggle on the booty should be there. Yep, that's looks like it's weight painted good. The legs, that's not really a direction you want your leg to go, but that's looking decent. I mean, you know, there's a little bit of issues that you would want to actually hand paint yourself to smooth all this out, but using the data transfer node, what a running style, eh? Yeah, just using that simple node, you can get some pretty basic clothes happening. And again, if you have any kind of clipping, most of the time that's due to the lack of geometry. Most of the time when you have, like, for example, if we look at, we'll actually stop pose mode. If we look at the body here, you can see that all of the vertices, I mean, they're pretty much the same amount of geometry to work with on the clothing now as there is on the body. So that's basically what you want for it to work optimally. But yeah, hopefully this quick tutorial helped some of you, and I'll see you in the next video.